All right, so Invoke control. There are a lot of variations of this archetype, even down to what champions you can play. The one thing in my mind that kind of establishes something as an Invoke control style deck is playing this card, Mountain Scryer, because notably this has the Allegiance mechanic attached to it. So if you're playing Mountain Scryer, the bulk of your deck is going to need to be target cards so you don't fail on this Invoke and this Allegiance trigger consistently. So you get to Invoke when you play this out. For this build here today that we're going to be playing, I've elected to play Leona as one of our champions, which means we are playing the Daybreak package. You basically, for people that haven't played with the Allegiance cards before, I think 5 is like the ceiling on how many non-region cards you can play in your deck, with 2 to 3 being ideal. For this build today, I've elected to play 3 copies of Grand Plaza, just very good landmark in the format, allows you to be very interactive. My second champion past that, I'm playing a bit of a split here. So I've got 2 Zoe to fill out the bottom end of our curve, but I also want to ensure that against other greedy decks, I have some tools that allow me to go long. So instead of playing the full 3 Zoe, I've got an Aurelion Sol here at the top end of our curve, along with an Eclipse Dragon. So Eclipse and Asol are the only 2 dragons in our deck, so this lets me play a copy of Dragon's Clutches. So I essentially have 2 virtual copies of Aurelion Sol, because if I draw Clutches, it's guaranteed to draw me Asol, which is useful. We also have some other top-end value generators like Star Shaping and Daylight. So the mix of cheap Daybreak threats along with top-end like this, I think gives us game in a lot of places. So let's go ahead and dive on into some matches here with this and see how it feels. J-Boot, thanks for the follow. Welcome, welcome. Lucian Z, eh? I think I want to keep Plaza and Hush here. Maybe Hush isn't good enough. Well, Mulligan looking for some cheap units. Yeah, if you've already drawn 1 dragon, your clutch just draws you 1 dragon. Someone asking about why 2 Zoe versus 2 Leona. I think this deck already has a lot of card advantage in it, and I'd rather err on the side of having more champions that are good against aggro rather than more champions that are good against control. Control decks are going to give me more time to draw. Are going to give me more time than aggro to draw my cards that are meaningful. Opponent's going to have really good open attacks next turn. We're going to take 6. I assume they're opening against my Leona deck. If they don't open against their Leona deck, that would be very bad for them. You cannot use Spellman on landmarks, no. Which is odd. They're obviously balanced around that, I think. Morning, Bob. It could be right to Priestess here. Obviously, it was right to Priestess there. Two Plazas in my deck. I don't know that any of these cards are particularly exciting, and this could have been one of the reasons why it was right to play the Priestess to start, because Priestess guarantees invokes between a 4 and 6 mana card, which gives us a more of a mid-range play rolled up. I guess I'm going to take Moonglow and give this extra toughness so it's a better blocker next turn. I think seems like the play. Hoping to fade Sharp Sight here. Yeah, we're just dead, right? And this is honestly like, for all the complaining people have done about Plaza, this game's a great example of the counterplay that Plaza has. Like, Plaza's very good against mid-range decks, but like, our opponent, like, we took turn 3 off of playing cards that developed the board, and our opponent just ran us out of the game, right? And this is also why some people, I see some people in chat talking about Diana versus Leona in this archetype. This is also why I think Leona is the proper champion to be playing in builds like this, because the Daybreak cards give you more play against aggro, which is important. In fact, it's possible that the fact that I am not playing the... What's what I'm searching for? I am not playing the copy of the 5/4 with lifesteal is wrong. I could be right to work some of those in here.
Show them what we're made of.
Yeah, that's gonna do it. Yeah, Sun Forger, that's the one. Well, yeah, of course you don't respect aggro, Bob. The aggro players are just bad players, and they get lucky, right? It's funny how things like that translate over, right? People hate respecting aggro in all games. I think Acel Leona is better than Acel Garen for Plaza. I have no idea, Recolo. I'd also discourage you, like, one of the things that I think people do too often is conflate things to be similar that shouldn't be similar. Like, I think okay, so against a Nivea, I want Dragon's Clutches, I think. Honestly, I could see keeping the Hush here, too, because getting to Hush this and not getting its Last Breath trigger can be valuable. I'll keep just these to start. Just because two decks are the same regions doesn't mean that they're the same style of deck either. Like, I think Mountain Scryer versus not Mountain Scryer is a very important distinction. As opposed to being like their Plaza decks, so they're the same. Tetrol, thanks for the follow. What should you name your horse? It's an important question, Crazy Deck. I guess we play this. This card's not super exciting this matchup either. Just any deck of that region, Bob. They take a bench spot up is one of the important things to note. So by committing a landmark to play, you can only have 5 units in play. Is one of their big drawbacks. I think we take Golden Sister just for more threat density here. Although Moonglow to give something Spell Shield could be valuable. Hey, Tom, thank you for the 57 months. I think I'm actually just going to go ahead and gem this here. Let's just push a little bit of damage and heals it back up. Means it'll be a 3-3 after the Grand Plaza bonus falls off here. It doesn't die to another avalanche. It's a long time, Tom. Just gonna go ahead and Leona here. I'm not planning to dip back into more VGC, Mazip. That content just wasn't popular enough and it was too tough to keep up with. They technically have Ruination mana here. It does, yeah. If you hush the Anivia, she doesn't get the last breath trigger. Yeah, Bob. Landmarks have diversified the play patterns a good bit. The game still tends to be fairly board centric on average, but what the board is about has varied a bit more now with Grand Plaza and other landmarks being competitive.
Strike while the planet's alive.
What is VGC? It's the Pokemon Video Game Championship. If you look back on my YouTube channel, there's some archives of us playing it. This is still 3 turns away from coming back. I think I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm gonna hush this, try and deny them the egg. That's true. We could just let the egg happen and then challenge it down the following turn. This is a little bit risky because I still have 6 mana up. So, like, if they have Harsh Winds here, they could stop this from having attack and stop this from generating a star chart for us. I feel like we're in an okay spot regardless, though, because this Dragon's Clutches is going to draw us a Soul plus Eclipse Dragon, which both generate us a good bit of card advantage. Zoe is my favorite champion in the game, Bob. She's really sweet. Really, really fantastic. Artwork's also super fun. Think about Victor. Hey, Victor's sweet.
Daylight stars will rule the skies.
We played a few different Victor decks that have felt reasonable. They haven't attacked yet either. Oh, she still isn't leveled? Man, we're so far off. They have a Ruination here. And this is fine because I get to play both of these and kill this, right? Let's push a little bit of damage. It's like this isn't really a big deal. Morning Blad. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and Dragon's Clutches here right away because I want to not draw either of these. So I only have 2 dragons in my deck to draw. So if I draw one, my Clutches becomes worse later on. Blood's actually been pretty reasonable here. I wasn't expecting it to be very good, but it's been more than fine. You have a Harrowing here for 2 Anivia back. Oh, 3 with this, right?
The Freljord's eternal guardian.
Yeah, I agree. When I play pick ban, this archetype's towards the top of the ones I prefer to ban. I mean, Fishing for Stun doesn't even really do anything, right? Because these are leveled, because they do 2 damage to everything. Bob, you're in chat. The opponent's deck is like the blue-white control deck of this format, if you're looking for something. Even this play kind of sucks, Precipic. Like, I'm taking 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. They're like they're getting all their things back next turn. We are getting ranched. Getting ranched is a good descriptor. I mean, I don't think I would classify our deck as a mid-range deck, Precipic. I actually think a lot of the mid-range decks in this game have an okay matchup against the opponent's archetype. I think the opponent's deck is good against the other control decks in the format. I think our deck is definitely a control deck. Fiora Zoe, eh? This is actually probably okay if we're trying to invoke a comet. Hush is great. Hey, Precipic, do you have a good Anivia list for Bob? You'll be able to pick out an ideal one better than he will if he's been away from the game for a bit. We still don't win the game, Triking, eh? Like, I just took a random card there basically because we were done. Like, you are right, Crescent Strike would have stopped us from taking damage that turn, but we weren't gonna win those games. The game had ended. Alright, so I think we Plaza this turn into Priestess Hush to kill this next turn. Oh, is the Anivia deck not good? I mean, it's good against our deck. Bob, I told you it was blue-white control. That implied that it wasn't good. I thought telling you it was Runeterra's blue-white control was the equivalent of telling you it was bad.
Sunlight guide you, my brethren.
Sutabo, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel.
Devotion through battle.
I'm gonna wait until they go in on this more to burn a Hush. Burning a Hush for just a Mentor of Stones buff seems loose.
Always 2 steps ahead.
Equinox sounds great here.
I will put you down. Oh, God.
Ranked is played mostly with aggro decks. Yeah, do you have a source on that? Or do you just have a lot of feels and feel a lot of things?
Daylight star will rule the skies.
As though day and night are not equal.
Hopefully Dub's Hush means we're gonna cut through this Fiora here. That's true. Yeah, it depends on what you're counting as aggro. It's a good thought. Excuse me?
This will be quick.
Can someone check in on my opponent and find out what's going on over there? Oh, got it. All right. Can you not, please? Thanks for the follow. You are legally obligated to emote all in Fiora players, chat. You're required to, okay? They know what they're signing themselves up for. Let me put all my eggs in this Fiora shaped basket. Yeah, against the Hush deck too. Stop it! I'm using the Mobalytics stats page. Mobalytics does not say the most played decks are all aggro. In fact, all right, now you're gonna make me whip my data out. I know it's indecent to put my data on stream like this. Where's the most recent meta report? Where's my reels to substitute over your feels? Hold on. Hold on. All right, so here's, as of December 28th, courtesy of Cosmic Plays on Twitter, this is Platinum to Masters data. This deck is not aggro. This deck is not aggro. This deck is aggro, checking in at 5%. Fiora Shen, I think you could classify as aggro at 4%. Lucian Plaza, I think you could classify as aggro at 4%. They Who Endure, probably aggressive. Lee Sin is not, so that's what? 7, 11, 16% of the top half is aggro? Like, come on now. I get that it takes a little bit of. Now the Teemo, oh, is that Teemo Burn? I assumed it was. Oh, that's Teemo Burn. 21%. Thank you. I assumed the Teemo deck was the Ice Teemo. That's fair. There you go. And then here's the other thing too, right? Like 4% of that too isn't even actually that great. Like Lucian Plaza's win rate is actually mediocre, and Teemo's burn win rate is also lower than some of these other as well. So even at 21%, that's less than half of the top half of the format. It's all aggro. And that's even with ladders tend to reward people playing aggressive decks more than non-aggressive because playtime is meaningful. Yeah, Bob, if you want the spike deck, Bob, the Go Hard Twisted Fate deck is objectively the best deck in the format. Cheetos, thanks for the follow. Mathian, welcome. Can you not, please? How we doing, folks? All right, are we just mulliganing for Hushes here? I think I'm gonna mulligan for Hushes here. Be very quiet. We're hunting Lee Sins. All of the other 50% is aggro. I would actually bet the other. I would put money on the other category being less aggro than the top half. Sure, but if you're breaking all the archetypes down into aggro, mid-range, and control, you expect each of those to be 30 to 40% for an even spread, most moist succulent pyro. So like 40% is much less than most, and it's completely within one standard deviation of the normal of what you'd expect of a completely even distribution between 3 different archetypes. Now I feel obliged on sub. You cannot take out your huge data in front of me. My feelings cannot recover from that. Ooh, that's great. Getting an Equinox here means I don't have to burn a Hush on this follower. So I can save the Hush for a Lee Sin down the line. Yeah, Elise is a very good champion. Super flexible. So we're just going to take this hit here, and then we'll Equinox this post-combat. Read.
Unyielding light.
Ninja Mouse, thanks for the 12 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Keeping me around. It's just how the format has changed, Bob. There are definitely points where I've played Runeterra where Ruination wasn't very good. I don't think that we're currently in one of those points. It's not bad for down the line. I think I need to kill one of these. I don't think I can just keep taking all these lifesteal hits. We're not going to be able to race them otherwise. Just do this here to use our mana. This is almost assuredly a trap against the deny Bastion deck, so I think we just grab this. We're only 2 turns off of playing it with Mountain Scryer as well.
The spirit gives to those who listen. What is gained when you return malevolence?
You're gonna play Go Hard and Iron Bob? I fully expect many a Reddit post to be made in your honor. Pretty sure I want to Pale just to keep this alive. I don't really have any other great plays for my mana this turn, so just spending my resources sound good. That's interesting. Okay, so now we're doing this to try and kill the Sparklefly. One point for Camp Plaza. Sounds good, Lowski. So I think my OBS is bugged. For stunning that. Rude. Do I want to save this goat? I feel like the answer is no. I'd rather just save my resources, bank some spell mana here, and then we can play the Greater Beyond. At least didn't get to lifesteal off of this. This has elusive, so if they don't open on attacks next turn, I can play this out as a blocker for this, which is good. They're opening on attacks. I think we just... There's a question of if I want to preserve my life total here. I think the answer is yes, because... Nah, I don't want to block with this, because if they combat trick to kill it, I can't play the Great Beyond this turn. I assume this is the case because people have been watching for almost 2.5 hours and nobody said anything. But, like, the picture rate on my stream looks the same as it always does, right? Like, my preview looks okay. Because my OBS is reporting that it's missing a bunch of frames due to rendering lag. But, yeah, it looks normal to me here. I'll have to double check the recordings. Maybe the recording... Maybe the recording file is losing a bunch of frames. No, the recordings look fine too. Sorry, opponent. I adjusted some audio settings. For the audio is slightly different. No, I'm not dropping frames. That should be on your end. Yeah, my recordings look fine. I don't know, I'll have to play with it. That's weird. Maybe it's an OBS bug. I think we're just opening on attacks here. Your other streams are crystal clear. Huh? Maybe there is an issue.
The dragon spirit awakens. Force is meaningless without skill.
Good chance we just died at this next turn. I have another Zenith Blade in hand.
To the edge of daybreak.
I suppose I probably want to just cantrip here, digging for a second copy of Hush. Are we on 3 Hush? I think we're on 3 Hush. Yeah, we're on 3 Hush. I guess this could find us something useful to kill this with potentially here too. Negative.
We chart our path by the stars.
We have 9 cards in hand, so we can just go ahead and pass here. Hey, Zero, thanks for the 23 months. Good morning. So if they can get this up to 9 power, we die. They don't have any gems in play. They could have, like, Lee Sin's champion spell or something like that, though. Yep.
Enemies cannot hide. Prepare yourself.
Jeff, I was timed out for calling Go Hard aggro control combo. I want you to know I wasn't trolling. I mean, like, it's an aggro combo control deck. That's a mid-range deck. Go Hard is a mid-range deck. So, like, you're describing this thing that what it does is I think I just do this. This is a dragon, right? And then this survives. Like, you're right. I agree with you that Go Hard is a flexible deck, but that's like the quintessential description of a mid-range deck is a deck that pivots and assumes different roles depending on both its draws and the matchups that it's in. I agree with you that Go Hard gives it kind of a combo element to it on top of it being a mid-range deck, but I think you would definitely describe it as a mid-range combo deck. More so than anything else. I think we just Traveler here now. I mean, people often ask me, Jeff, how do you define a mid-range deck? And in my opinion, the way you define a mid-range deck is this deck assumes different roles in different matchups depending on what its draw looks like. And that's a very direct description of what that deck does. With this next turn, we might just kill them. This grants everything else overwhelm. We're gonna overwrite the 2/3 here and get in for a bunch. Well, shit. Yeah, it's all to block a bunch of stuff, I guess. Zoe dies in combat. Just feels much worse than getting Aesol down this turn. It is still a 10-10, you're not wrong. I gemmed this so that way Zoe doesn't trade with it. I guess blocking and giving them gems for Lee Sin is actually bad here. Maybe this was wrong. Yeah, I think I'm only supposed to attack with this, actually. They're gonna be able to gem this up to an 8 next turn. I think because of their goats, my attack was bad here. We have a minimum of 2 draws to try and find a copy of Hush, at least. We have 2 Hushes and 22 cards. Well, we're technically not dead to heads-up information here. So these only get Lee Sin to 8, which means he only does 16 to us. And this is 17. Play this out for an extra blocker. Since they're getting a Dragonling. Not the Hush I wanted for Christmas. Oh, they get 2 2/1s. Is that lethal? That was probably lethal. Yeah, our next best draw after Hush was Star Shaping or Guiding Touch here, so we could draw more cards towards this. Guiding Touch was the actual best draw. We have 1 more of those in the deck. Looks like we're dead though. Opponents made some curious plays this game. They've elected not to kill us here by attacking with everything, so God bless. They can Impale Cascade, I suppose, here. Yeah, it just doesn't matter. Full 20 ball. They saw double Hush, and we did not. That was the game decider. If they hadn't had the Hush for our finisher, or if we had the Hush for theirs, it would have worked out a little different. Yeah, I agree. Getting 20-0 off a Lee Sin setup is pretty rough. You're basically on Hush or bust. Diana Victor. That's interesting. We'll keep Hush against the Victor deck. Plaza sounds good. We're attacking on even, so we can Plaza on their 3 and to play a unit on our 4. I think with that draw, we go ahead and deploy the goat here and get an attack with that. Go get it. They're probably a Give It All deck. Give It All seems good. Give It All's a really good finisher with Victor specifically.
You still have so much to improve. System upgrade. A ticket to the gun show.
Dusk approaches.
Yep.
The future.
Face your heretic.
Alright, so definitely eating Diana here, right? And honestly, I think we're invoking with this because she still kills her. Traveler sounds good.
Dusk and her radiant
Just
blessing.
more cheap bodies. Suppose this is worse on defense next turn, but I do have Pale Cascades if they want to open attack. Yeah, I agree. Those are the two things Kazoo. They could change either of those and have it be pretty fine though. Like either without the barrier or without the overwhelm interaction. Yeah, Traveler chains especially are good with Plaza, because basically every Traveler becomes removal as well. That's pretty good.
Spirits shine.
What do I do? What don't I do?
You still
Huh.
have so much to improve.
They're gonna have a really good open attacks here. Again, just like, you know, the complaints about Plaza largely feel unwarranted to me. There's a lot of situations like this where like I took mana off to not develop my board and then they developed and like we get run down.
System upgrade.
So, assuming we make it out of this turn alive, I want to be able to play 2 units next turn.
Needs a little love.
Wait. So are they only playing Diana as a Nightfall card? Or are they just playing this Allegiance card with... I mean, this card seems sweet in general with these Augment cards. Man, that's gross. Feel like I want to hold up Hush this turn.
Sunlight guide you, my brethren.
Nah, Vault hasn't really been a competitive card in Runeterra so far, Quack.
Disengage.
You're gonna need a map.
Their build's really sweet. The idea of this card with the Augment one seems fantastic.
Back heretic. Believe or burn. Back heretic. Believe or burn.
I think I used the Hush just to gain a bunch of life here, because I'm going to get to Golden Sister and get control of the board a little bit next turn. is the plan.
Safety disengaged.
What once was two, now
I think we do this and eat these two. Cassius, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. I think that takes pretty bad. I don't think Vaults really has a very extreme deck building cost. I think the fact that Vaults takes up a bench space is a 5-mana card that doesn't impact the board are the two reasons why it struggles. Alright, if they don't open attacks next turn, we've got Leona. And if they do open attacks, I have Lifesteal plus a Hush. Alright, so that's probably not going to be enough then, huh? Man. Yeah, their build was super sweet. Does this keep us alive? This is 14, 15, 16, 17. Is it not enough to stay alive?
insolence. Witness divinity. You are beneath me.
Man, we're so close. They have ignition at hand. They have a Hush too. All right, so their deck is greedy as shit because they're playing the Allegiance card and they're playing multiple target cards. So they're just like actually playing a 4-mana 4/3 a good amount of the time. Zoe, Leona. Daylight Spear is probably a mulligan to start. I'm going to keep Zoe. I'm going to keep Grand Plaza. Opponent probably playing something very similar to what we are. Hopefully the fact that we have an Aurelion Soul at our top end can give us a bit of a leg up in the long game. You can always see what deck we're currently playing on the stream overlay. It's also listed in the stream title. And you can type !decks to get a link to my deck list on Mobalytics. So, Scryer gets to chip in and kill Zoe here, ideally. Honestly, Cosmic Inspiration seems like a great way to get ahead in the mirror. Just make all of our stuff bigger than theirs. Seems like a wonderful place to be. This is going to invoke us another Celestial.
Forward in the name of the Solari.
Yes, especially if we can do this before we do this. We'll like do this turn, do this next turn.
Argon's history is in each stone and star.
Radiant strikes!
Devotion through battle.
Protector, shield me.
Well, we know what we're drawing. Is the Ribbon Vi deck good? I don't know. We've never played it before. If you're new to the channel, a lot of the decks that we play on stream are viewer submissions. So we're going to be learning and getting a feel for it just like you. It does not, Pyros. In fact, in the last patch, Vault had its text updated to reflect the fact that it doesn't kill your thing if there isn't something bigger to get. So the fun news is with Daylight Spear here, I can hush into Eclipse Dragon next turn and get the Daybreak and Nightfall trigger and still potentially be in an okay spot this game. Assuming they can't kill us this turn. If you can't hang out for when we get to that 1G2s, everything I stream ends up on my youtube.com/Jeff Hoagland. So I have two YouTube channels, one that posts daily Runeterra deck highlights at the Hoaglandia Highlights channel, and then a secondary channel that posts absolutely everything that I stream, cut up deck by deck. What is Zoe at? She's getting high up there. She's 7 out of 10. So this is definitely a hush into Eclipse Dragon turn, then we can Aesol next turn. Danger Noodle. I'm not actually sure that I want to play Danger Noodle yet, because I kind of want to hold this for this. Although I guess with Aesol, I guess with Aesol, I'm gonna guarantee I have another Celestial. I'm gonna pass for now. There's no reason to play it just yet, I don't think. Just get eaten by Leona. Are they gonna level Zoe? Why didn't they heal their unit? Probably because they forgot. I forgot their card could do that.
I created galaxies faster than this.
So Zoe's leveled up. Notable that her leveled effect is just for the rest of the game. So even if we kill her, her things are still going to share keywords for the rest of the game, which is quite scary. Still, obviously killing her and attacking, but it's not great for us. Next turn, we're going to have 9 total mana. So we could Shield Bearer plus Cosmic Inspiration, which will hopefully give us enough to level the Aesol up to make future Cosmic Inspirations free. Other Celestial cards that we generate. If they don't kill us next turn and we level Asol, the game should be good. Should be in the bag for us. Eris and Sith, thanks for the follows. Welcome to the channel. Their Leona's nowhere near leveling.
Forger, your work is unparalleled.
Blades bright, forged in solstice heat.
Unyielding light.
Yeah, there could have been merit to Cosmic Inspirationing to start rather than this, so that way they couldn't Pale Cascade in to kill this. Sure. Oh, so they're trying to kill him. Got it. Opponent surrender. Oh, maybe the opponent thought it worked like Barrier. I bet they thought it worked like Barrier, where the first strike breaks the barrier and the second one kills them, but Concerted Strike is only one spell, so the spell is stopped against Spell Shield. Yeah, if Asol had Barrier there, he would have died. I mean, to be fair, they weren't winning that game. Not so much of a shame concede as like the game's over and we can move on. Alright, another aggro matchup. This deck's not felt particularly good against aggro so far, so... Plaza notably has felt real clunky, trying to commit that to the board. Alright, we got a pretty good curve here. Sometimes the Scouts deck's a little bit slower these days because it wants to get Misfortune or what's it called set up early. And we have an early Leona draw here, which could be very good. You can always type ! rank in chat to find my current rank. Never gets old. Never gets old. Got him. Pretty happy to offer this trade, I think. Maybe this trade's bad if they have Misfortune this turn. I think we're plat. I don't think we've bumped Diamond this stream. Anyway, for people that are new to the stream, this isn't a try-hard stream. I play pretty casually here, mostly play games for fun, so we don't really worry about our rank. Like I mentioned a second ago, a lot of the decks we play are viewer submissions. I think it's right to take this over the more expensive Comet. This kills a lot of their stuff still. I think I'm just Leona-ing. They could deploy something else here, but...
With its light, the Solari will unite the heavens.
I'm one of the good guys, but not that good.
I mean... Meteor looks pretty great here, huh?
Set sail.
I mean, they arguably had the Misfortune on 3s. They just wanted to play the Plaza first. They basically had the Misfortune at the first possible opportunity, right? Man, all these suck. I think it's just Traveler.
A radiant blessing. Devotion through battle.
Activated my trap card. Niv, thank you for the 32 months. Real talk, is tomorrow March 306, 2020 or March 1st, 2021? Put my tier 3 towards my Snap Finds disaster. Sounds good. That'll put it up tomorrow. I am planning to be live tomorrow morning still. As per usual. Unfortunate that this doesn't die to Meteor Shower here. I think I'm just doing 4-1 like this to play around +2/+2 as well as Rangers Resolve, saving Misfortune here. Don't we know the GA Senate race results? I assume not until a week or two into January. The early voting, it's technically just early voting until like January 5th. So I would imagine like maybe we'll know that day, but it could be a little bit after. All right, I have heal 7 here, he says before he dies to rally. Man, our luck against the Plaza Scouts deck is so bad. Just like 5 or 6 out of the last games that we've played, they've had Misfortune at the first possible opportunity into Scouts immediately. The deck's really good when it plays Misfortune and attacks right away with it. Yeah, it's very good high roll deck. What do the stats say overall on that one, Principic? What's its overall win rate like? Vlad Brom. So definitely a Scargrounds deck. I'm gonna keep these 2 for defense early. Mulligan these others looking for some interaction.
In the War Mother's name.
It's not a bad drop. 56% win rate. Gosh, is it not tier 1 based on play rate then? Or is the win rate for S tier higher than that? Hey, Briseus, thanks for the quarter of a year. Welcome back.
I love a taste of the action.
I could like this into Pale Cascade here, but I think that's pretty bad against like Troll Chance, and we're only taking 2 damage anyways, so we just let this happen and drop our Plaza here.
My faith protects me.
We get to go this into Goat here. This is a good pickup.
Away, doubt.
All right, do I want to save the Goat or do I want to kill the Crimson Disciple? I think I want to save the Goat. Did I just skip attacking with my Zoe there for some reason? I did. This should be cheaper and they should be 1 lower. Well, I mean, that means this doesn't attack. Nah, you don't play around things like Lotus. this means Braum gets to kill Zoe, which is unfortunate.
Daylight warms the heart and lights the way.
Golden Sister sounds nice.
Our friends didn't know. Ha! This is fun, yes?
If I put this here, this goes down to 4 toughness, so we can kill it with Golden Sister next turn.
It is easy, see?
What once was two, now is one. Blinding daylight.
I'm gonna attack and hook like this because I don't. If I attack and hook this to try and trade, and my opponent has Troll Chant, I lose both combats basically. I could also just do this, just like get guaranteed eats here. I don't hate that.
Flee now or burn.
I wonder if they have Basilisk. Yeah, they do. One silence or stun, please.
Another fine scar.
I'll find you.
I think I'm okay with this attacking here. This attack means I block with this and they trade. I take a little bit of damage, but I've got plenty of healing rolled up. Beatids. Barrow, thanks for the follows. Welcome to the channel.
No further. Believe or
Maybe I should have gemmed this so I could trade this here. I guess if I gemmed that, I couldn't play Mountain Scryer here.
Argon's history is in each stone and star.
It's a decent pickup. Dealing 1 here means that when it attacks, it kills itself next turn, which is nice.
avenge me. Oh, I can't wait. Chosen of
Can we just play this to kill this with Plaza?
the winter's claw will purge the weak.
Second Scar Mama's a little scary. This is pretty far from leveling. So if they have, it depends on how the card is worded, Courier. So a card like Vile Feast or Glimpse, they say the word 2 on the card, so they have to have the first effect happen for the second effect to happen. But if there isn't that conditional in the middle, the card will resolve as much as possible.
Make the Empire proud.
Daylight everlasting.
They could still have Basilisk here. If they have Basilisk, Mama's gonna get real angry. Are we dead? I think we might be dead. This combo is really good. Also, I'm really bad at drawing Hush in our deck. So, the format's changed a little bit since the last time we played this, but I also was like just kind of super underwhelmed by what this deck was doing today. And notably, the Grand Plaza specifically did not feel good very consistently in the games that we played. So we had played this deck, this archetype before Cosmic Creations dropped, and and it still splashed Demacia then. We were playing single combat for having a touch of removal, and Grand Plaza really just, there were so many games in this set today where we played this card on 3 or 4, and then we just got completely run over by what our opponent was doing because we were spending 3 mana that didn't directly play to the board. And yeah. And I feel like with Mountain Scryer and Aesol and Star Shaping and even Daylight Spear to a degree, like, our deck has so much value in the mid to late game, and this card is like only decent against aggro if you get it once you've already stabilized with other means. And I feel like the places where this card was really helping were places where we already have all of this value that's pretty good there. Like, don't get me wrong, this card was fine against the slower matchups, but that kind of feels like a card that's helping matchups that we're already good in because of how the rest of this feels. I don't know. There was Precipix been playing a build of this that plays Scamp, Starry Scamp, which is kind of cute alongside Zoe early. And I forget if he was playing Spacey Sketcher. If you're playing Zoe and Sketcher, Starry Scamp probably mitigate some of that clunkiness of Plaza, being able to play Plaza on 3 and then immediately play a 0-drop, but that's also a pretty specific 1-2-3 combination of cards to try to unlock your Plaza's clunkiness in the aggro matchups. Hey, thanks for the follow, Trade Practice. At any rate, I'm going to go ahead and be done with this one for the day. Let's go ahead and move on to our third deck.